Today, we're digging into a source that takes a really complex idea, our planet's climate situation, and boils it down to one single powerful analogy. It's a pretty stark look at that 1.5 degrees Celsius warming threshold we hear so much about.
So let's get right into it. The source wants us to imagine something. Forget the globe for a second, and instead picture our planet as a car, and we're all in it. This car is moving fast. The real question is, where is it going?
All right, first things first, let's talk about a really critical warning sign. According to the source we're looking at, this isn't something that's coming up ahead, it's already in our rearview mirror.
And that sign reads 1.5 degrees Celsius. For years, this has been the number. It's the goal, the guardrail that's been talked about in all those international agreements. It's supposed to be what keeps us from the absolute worst impacts of climate change. It was the line we were told we should never, ever cross.
But here is the gut punch, the central claim from the source we're analyzing. It says we've already blown past that line. Now, the source argues this isn't just a blip, not just one weirdly hot year. It's a persistent trend, where some of those key climate feedback loops started kicking in way sooner than a lot of models thought they would, pushing our average temperature past that 1.5 degrees C mark in 2025.
And this quote just puts it so perfectly, right? In our analogy, it means we've already sped right past the first big flashing red light on the dashboard. And the scary part, the car isn't slowing down. If anything, it's going faster.
So, that's a huge question, right? If we've passed that critical warning marker, why isn't the car slowing down? Well, the source argues it's actually speeding up. Let's get into why that might be.
The source breaks down a really physical reason for this acceleration, and it happens in 3 steps. First, you've got the massive ice sheets at the poles melting like crazy. That leads directly to step 2. The ocean loses what the source calls its protective ice shield. And the consequence of that, step 3, temperatures don't just keep climbing, they start climbing even faster.
So what's the science behind that? It's this fascinating concept called latent heat capacity. The easiest way to think about it is that ice is like a giant energy sponge. While it's melting, it soaks up a ton of heat energy from the atmosphere, but the temperature doesn't actually go up. But once the ice is gone, that sponge is totally full. There's nowhere else for that energy to go except straight into heating up our oceans in the air.
And this is where it all snaps back to our speeding car. Losing our planet's ice shield isn't just like someone's pushing down on the gas pedal. It's more like the road itself is turning to ice. It's getting slicker, and we're starting to lose control, causing the car to accelerate, whether we want it to or not.
All of this brings up a pretty obvious question. Who is driving this thing? And that takes us to the human part of this story, the choices being made, or maybe not being made, from the driver's seat. Now, the source material does not mince words here. It looks directly at our international leadership in those big climate conferences, and it looks at them with a whole lot of criticism, even going so far as to rebrand the COP30 conference as Cop-Out 30, which I think tells you everything you need to know about how the author felt about its outcome.
This quote really drives that point home, doesn't it? The argument is that even with all the warning lights flashing and the road getting slick, the people with their hands on the wheel are showing absolutely no sign of easing up on the gas, let alone hitting the brakes.
So, if we've passed the warning signs, if the road itself is getting more and more dangerous, and if the driver is refusing to slow down, where exactly are we headed? Well, that brings us to the final and frankly the most urgent part of this analogy, the cliff's edge.
So according to the source, the next big marker on this highway is 2.0 degrees Celsius. But this isn't just another signpost we can speed past. In this story, this is the edge of the cliff. The source calls it a tipping point we can't reverse. This is the point of no return for the car and for all of us inside it.
And this is the choice the source lays out for us, clear as day. On one side, we can hit the brakes, and this means urgent, radical action, a global effort to rapidly cut fossil fuel use, a massive speed up in our transition to renewables, really pushing to hit net zero way, way sooner than we're planning. And on the other side, we stay the course. We just keep doing what we're doing, and that path leads to that irreversible tipping point, or in the blunt words of the analogy, right over the cliff.
So in the end, the source doesn't give us a neat answer. It just leaves us with this incredibly powerful image. It takes this whole massive data-heavy crisis and turns it into a simple, gut-wrenching story. There's a car, there's a cliff, and there's a choice. And it leaves us all thinking about that one final crucial question. Who, if anyone, has their foot on the brake?